everybody, my name's Renee and this is my cash stuffing journey. If you're new here, thank you so much for taking a chance and clicking on my video, and I hope you decide to like, subscribe and stick around for a while. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for your ongoing support. Now today is going to be another how-to tutorial. With the way that people's economy is right now, a lot more people are starting up side hustles and side businesses and small businesses, and I think it's amazing. But one of the most daunting and overwhelming aspects of having your own business is balancing your expenses and your profit, and not overcharging to people, but then not falling into the hole that I did of undercharging. And coming up with pricing can be one of the most daunting and overwhelming tasks that you have to do as a small business, because you may have to make sure that you cover all your costs. You want to make a profit and want to make it worth it, but you also don't want to charge people. Well, for me, you don't want to charge people a lot, because it's hard starting a small business, like in my experience, cash stuffing. So I don't want to charge people a lot of money for items that they need to start that journey, but I also need to remember that I am a small business and I need to make it profitable. Otherwise, I'm literally working myself into the ground for nothing. So I thought I would kind of combine a few things. Now, one of my very dear friends, Julie from Aussie Budget Queen, she has literally just started her Etsy store in the last week. So if you're not subscribed to her YouTube channel, please head on over to Aussie Budget Queen and like, comment, subscribe, tell her I said hello, and go out and check out her Etsy store. I will have both of her links down in the description. Go out and check out her Etsy store. Now, I actually have already bought a item from there. I wasn't lucky enough to be the first, but I was the second, so I'm really proud of that, and I wish her all of the best. And one of the discussions we were having was around pricing, and it's hard. So I thought, you know what, with so many people having their first small businesses, let me just get on here, make a quick video and show you what I do, and also to do a bit of an experiment, because when I started my small business, when I started my Etsy store, none of my prices have really changed since then. I have had to bump up the boxes a little bit. I put them up by $5, but I'm interested to see if, using my own pricing methods, if I'm actually charging enough to make a profit. So, because I'm not really sure right now, I could be working at a loss. I'm not really sure, so I thought we could do it together. So this is the tracker that I bought from Julie at Aussie Budget Queen, and my broker is going to do this in winter, because there's no way I can be putting $42, because it's in summer right now in Australia. And where I live regionally in New South Wales, and so we're about 4 hours away from like Sydney, which is a big metro city. And it's very dry. It's a very dry heat, but it gets quite hot. So in summer, it's not uncommon for us to get 42, 45 degrees. I'm not quite sure what that converts to in Fahrenheit. I know it's over 100, like way over. So we've actually had a pretty mild summer this year, but yeah, it's not unlikely for us to get that high. So my broker is going to do that in winter when we're in the negatives. Hey, if it goes in a negative on a weather challenge, can you give yourself money back? That's going to be the question for today. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. Okay, so what I do is, when I think I'm going to do my most popular item, which is my 100 envelope box. And that comes with 100 envelopes. It comes with a box. You get 2 trackers or savings challenges of your choice, and then you get a whole bunch of freebies. Okay, so we're gonna break it. So what I do is, when I'm thinking of selling an item, how I price it is I literally break down every single aspect of that item, find out how much it's gonna cost me for each one, add it all together, and that is how much I charge for a box. Now, you need to also take into consideration your time. So from the minute I start cutting cardstock till the very last minute when I close that lid, right, and it's done, it takes me 2 hours of uninterrupted time. So 2 hours. I am able to cut that down a bit now because I'm quite quick at it, as you can imagine, because I've been doing it for over a year now, and I can do multiple boxes at a time. So when I cut cardstock, I might cut enough cardstock for 3 boxes. So that saves me time. But generally speaking, it's 2 hours from the very first cut of the cardstock to when the lid goes on and it's done. So you need to also take that into consideration. So the first thing, now guys, I did so much math. Oh my god, you should be so proud of me. Everyone knows math is not my strong suit. Sorry, the dishwasher just finished. Everyone knows math is not my strong suit. This is why this is all pre-filled, because there is no way that my brain could sit here and do this on camera. But I thought we could go through it. So, cardstock. That's to cut the envelope. So that's here, cardstock. It starts out as a 30 centimeter by 30 centimeter pad, and it's got 60 sheets. So I pay $16 per cardstock pad. That makes me 240 envelopes, and that means that if you divide 16 by 240, that means it's 6 cents per envelope. Just in cardstock is 6 cents per envelope. For every 100 box, it's $6. So for every order of 100 envelopes, it costs me $6 in cardstock. The next one is because the envelopes are laminated, so there's laminating sheets. So it cost me $33 for 100 sheets. Now I do actually pay a higher cost, and I get very thick quality laminating sheets. I find that it's more durable, and it gives a bit more of a luxurious feel to the envelope because it's thick and it's sturdy. So I pay $33 for 100 sheets. So that's 33 cents per laminating sheet. Now, on one laminating sheet, I can get 6 envelopes. So it costs, so I need 16.6 laminating sheets per 100 envelopes. So 33 cents times the 16.66, and I spend $5.49 on laminating sheets. One thing when you are doing business, always round up. Always round up. So I've gone from $5.49 to $6. One, it's easier to calculate. And two, you always need to give your buffer for everything. So shipping, expenses, and even your profit. Doesn't have to be much. Like for this one, it's only, what, 51 cents. But it's easier. Okay, so the box was easy. The box is I pay $4 per box. Now, so for the envelope and the box, we are currently sitting at, what, $6.12? We're currently sitting at $16. And that is literally just the cardstock, the laminate, and the box. Now, some people might stop there and go, wow, that's an amazing profit, because I charge $40 for my boxes. Gee, I should know that, dang. Yeah, so, and everyone's like, oh, well, that's a really good profit. Yeah, but it doesn't stop there. Now, when I package you got to take in packaging into account. So when I package my boxes, it gets wrapped in a brown, like in a brown craft paper. So it cost me $27 to buy a 70-meter roll. And I get, on average, about 50 centimeters per order. That's how much paper I use. Now, this does vary, but to make it easier for myself and my adding abilities, I just rounded to 50 centimeters. So on average, I get 14 orders out of a roll of this wrapping paper. So the $27 divided by 14, which makes it $1.92. I round it up to $2. So that's to wrap the box. Then the next part of my order is I get twine, which is this stuff. That's what it looks like. And I wrap it on the box, right? So I pay $2 for one of these. I usually get about 10 orders out of a roll on average, which is 20 cents. So every time I wrap one, it's 20 cents in twine. Now, attached to the I actually forgot when I was doing this. I actually forgot that my envelopes are numbered. So for me to number them for every box, because I get I have a labeling machine, and I get these it's clear labeling tape. So that's how I label the numbers. So I get $25 and I get 10 of them. So it's $2.50 per roll. And I generally get 2 out of it, maybe 1 3/4. So I've just done it as $1.25. So the numbers are $1.25. Now, in every order, once I've put the twine on, these are going to be a bit out of order, but this is the thank you tag. It gets a thank you tag on it. So before I tie off the twine, I put a thank you tag on it. So this one goes back to the cardstock. So I cut this and write on this from my Cricut. So I hand make these. So when you get the cardstock again, because that's what this material is. It's the same cardstock that I make my envelopes out of. It's $16 for a 60 pack of cardstock, which makes it 26 cents per page. Now, out of that page, I get 12 labels, which takes it down to 2 cents. So every one of these is costing me 2 cents. And that's not even taking into account the markers that I use at the Cricut or the blades that I have to replace. Like, we're not even getting into that right now. So I've rounded it up to 5 cents. So every time I put one of these on, it's 5 cents. Now, they also get a sticker, which is my business sticker. Let's see if I've got one. Okay, so this is what they look like. So that's my business sticker, and that goes on the packaging as well. Now, it's $100 for 480 pieces. So that equals to 20 cents per sticker. Okay, so see how things add up? Like, yes, they're small expenses, but when you've got a lot of them, it adds up. So I'm kind of really nervous about what it's actually costing me to make the boxes. Okay, so in every order, no matter what you order with me, you get this little bag. And inside it's got like a handwritten note from me and business cards and whatever. Now, these bags, it's $2.50 for 30 of them, right? So that equals 8 cents per bag. You round it up to 10 cents. Okay. Postcard. So this is the postcard. This is what I write my personalized message on. It's just got my logo on the back, and then I write on here. Now, these are $40 for 100 of them. And that equates to 40 cents each. Right? The business card, it's the same. They look the same. Although, when I ordered them, I didn't order this one gloss. I don't know why. But yeah, see how they're the same? It's all marketing. It's all going to look the same. So, business cards. They are $27 for 250 of them. And that equates to 10 cents each. So, 10 cents per order. We've done the thank you tag, which is this one. Okay, now in my orders, in every single order, I have a thank you slip and a receipt jar slip. Okay, so you've got to, when you're doing things like this, you need to take into account the paper and the printing. Right, so for A4 paper, I pay $7.95 for 500 sheets of reflex printing paper, which equates to 1 cent per page. Now, something else that I actually kind of forgot about until I was calculating this was printing. So the actual cost of printing these. Now, when I print these off, I get 3 of them to a page. So when I print them, there's like 3 of them on a page and I've got to cut them out, which takes forever and I hate. And I'm actually thinking about paying, like getting them professionally done. But at the moment, I just can't justify the expense. So I get 3 to a page, which is ½ cent. So that means these ones each are ½ cent. And in it you get 2 of them, right? So you're paying 1 cent each. But if you take into account printing, so I pay $60 for a set of my what's it called, my inkjet. No, not inkjet. Do I do inkjet? I can't remember which. I think it's an inkjet one. It's the one with the powder. For a set of 4 toners, no, toner printer, that's right. For a set of 4 of the black, blue, yellow, and magenta, it cost me $60. And out of that, I generally get about 900 pages. 1 second. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, Evelyn was waking up. I have got her back down, but I don't know if she'll stay asleep. Okay, so yeah, it cost me $60 to get 900 pages, which is about 6 cents a page. So by the time you add the 6 cents with the 5 cents it takes to have this, that makes it 15 cents. Each one of these is printed. Okay. And the reason this is highlighted, because I'm not going to include this into every box. I'm going to include it to each item that needs it. Okay, prop bills. I always include one of these bills, one of these prop notes. It's $1,000 US prop note. I was doing my own, but it was just too time consuming and too expensive. So I paid $35 for 180 of these, which makes it 19 cents, rounded up to 20 cents. So this is 20 cents per order. Laminated trackers. So in every order, this is what I have. Now, having a small business, it can be, putting it nicely, some customers are very particular in what they want. Now, as part of my 100 envelope box, I offer people 2 trackers and challenges of their choice. They can go on, they can look on my store, they can have a look at the digital items, and they might say, yep, I want this one and this one, and I will print them and laminate them. A lot of people don't do that. And I was spending so much time chasing people trying to find out which one they wanted. So what I've done is I call these my what do I call them? My can't remember what I call them, but basically if you don't specifically ask for something else, this is what you're getting. So that's the 100 envelope challenge and a self-care challenge, and then I also throw in a budget tracker as part of a freebie. So these, like with the thank you slips, they're 3 to a page, but because there's 3 of them, I'm just going to do it as 1. So I'm going to kind of put them all together. Okay, so each piece of paper is 1 cent. The printing of these is 6 cents. It uses one laminating sheet, which is 33 cents. So in total, it's 40 cents for these, for the 3 of these. Okay, so that is what goes in this little bag, and that goes with every order. Now, once I've finished all of that, so once I've got the box ready and I've got this, I've wrapped it and I've put the twine on it and the label, then it's wrapped in bubble wrap, because the boxes are really the handles fall off a lot if they're mistreated in transition. So if they're thrown around, if they're dropped, the handles will pop off and like the plastic will break. So I always bubble wrap them. So I pay $19 for a 25 meter roll. I generally get about 10 orders out of each one, which is $2.50. Okay, postage bags. Now I send them in the flat rate bags. So what I do is, it's just a very plain bag. I do all of my postage online. I slip in the postage slip, I put the packaging in it, and I close it off and I ship it out. So it's $3.50 for 10 bags, which makes it 35 cents per bag. Now I have fragile tape because of the boxes, because if you've got anything, particularly if you're shipping in Australia and you go through Australia Post, if you have got anything that can be broken or damaged, so it can be bent, it can be broken, it can be snapped, always put a fragile sticker on it. Because what happens is, okay, you're going to get a very quick look into Australia Post. I worked for them for 10 years. I worked in one of the mail sorting centres. Now what happens is, we get a lot of parcels come in, and they all get sorted into metre by a metre by a metre metal crates. We call them ULDs. Now, especially for Sydney, we always have a non-machinable one, right? So there's a machined one, which the parcels, when the ULD is full, it gets tipped into a machine. The machine flips them all around the right way and reads the label and then shoots it off to where it's meant to be. Now, if you've got anything fragile, it goes in a completely separate one. Not only that, staff are more careful with them because they know that they can be broken. And not only that, it means it's hand sorted, so it's not going through any machines. Now, if you've got anything that can be broken, always put a fragile sticker on it, because when you're sorting that many parcels, if it's not labeled, we will yeet it. Like, we're careful with it, like we know where we're throwing it and stuff like that, but it does get thrown. So make sure you always label it. Second, if you are sending like a large letter or it's going in a large envelope, we put those in what we call letter trays. So it gets thrown into a tray and then it either goes into a machine or it gets hand sorted. If you've got a letter, or like say for example the other day I sent an A4 savings tracker, I didn't want it to get bent, so when I packaged it up I put do not bend all over it, and that means that it won't get machine sorted, because if it goes through the machine and it's like any kind of thickness or bulkiness or anything like that, or anything that's stopping it from bending, it will get torn open. That's like, have you ever got mail that's been torn open? A lot of the time, probably most of the time, it's the machines. It snags on something, it gets caught, and it rips the envelope. So always be mindful to label your stuff with fragile stickers. So that was my little bit of a tangent. So I use this tape. So it's $2 a roll, and I get about 10 orders out of that because I label both sides of the bag with fragile. And so that's 20 cents. Now, time. When you have a small business, you need to take into account your time. Yeah, it's relatively cheap for me for all the box items, But when I've got to sit there for 2 hours and make one box, it takes time. Now, the minimum wage in Australia, I had to Google this. The minimum wage in Australia is $21.38. So that's legally the minimum wage in Australia per hour. So if you times that by 2, $42.76. That's how long, if I was working a minimum wage job in Australia, I would be earning $42.76 for each box. Now, as a small business, I can't charge people that. That's more than what I charge for the box now. Like, just in my hours. So I actually do, generally speaking for me, I do $15 an hour with a minimum half an hour charge. So for example, if I'm just doing like savings trackers, I charge for half an hour, generally speaking. So based on that, it's costing me $30 just in time. So all of this stuff is irrelevant because I know I'm not going to make it. $30. Like, when you put it into perspective like that, the cost is adding up with things you probably never even thought of charging for. Now, when I do a shipping label, I have to print a shipping label. So it's it's a 1 cent for the page, 6 cents for the printing, 7 cents, so rounded up to 10 cents. So every time I print off a shipping label, it's costing me 10 cents. Okay. And then, so that's that, right? So this is everything I charge for, but that's not including the time it takes me to bag everything up, go to the post office, stand in line, hand it over to the cashier, and wait for them to lodge everything. Like, that's fuel. That's more time. So, like, when you have a small business, you really have to try and think as many things as possible because they are all costing you money. And you need to make sure you balance that. So let's add all of this up. Based on that hourly rate, I don't think I'm going to make it. But let's add everything up and see how much it's actually costing me to make these 100 envelopes with this price breakdown. So we've got $6 for cardstock, $6 for laminating sheets, $4 for the box, $2 for the packaging and wrapping paper, 20 cents for the twine, $1.25 for the numbers, okay, 10 cents for the bag, 40 cents for the postcard, 10 cents for the business card, 20 cents for the sticker, 5 cents for the thank you tag, okay, so for the slips, like the paper slips, it was, what was it? I think it was 0.15. Okay, so the prop bill was 20 cents. The laminated tracker was 40 cents. The bubble wraps, $2.50. So 35 cents for the postage, 20 for the tape. Okay, and then the shipping label. Okay, so just in physical costs, it is costing me $24.20 each box. That's how much it's costing me, and I charge $40. Alright, so just cost of, what would you call them? Cost of supplies, I guess. So the cost of supplies is $24.20. Okay, taking the 2 hours it takes me to do it, and that, like I said, that's not including packaging everything up, going to the post office, standing in line, lodging everything, because sometimes that can take me 30 minutes. Like, plus 30. So there we go. If you add that with the time of $30, $54.20. That's how much I should be charging for my boxes. And that's literally just for the things that cost me to make them and my time. $52.40. And I'm charging $40. So technically I'm running at a $14.20 loss. Because that's not taking into account any profit whatsoever. That's literally just what it's costing me to make them. This is a really good example of how easy it is to undercharge. Because like I said, according to this, I'm not making a profit. I'm actually running at a $14.20 loss. Now, I do make up the difference because I make multiple boxes at a time. So it cuts down the time per box. But if I was just starting out, this is something that I would have to take into account. So I hope this cost breakdown. Now, you can use this like process on anything. It doesn't matter. On any physical item. Break down everything you need to make that item and ship it. Add that all together, and then don't forget your time. Now, for digital items, I do those a little bit different, and I try and keep them as cheap as possible because they're a passive income. You make them once, you upload them, and then you let them go. And people buy them and download them at their will. You don't have to do anything with them. The only reason I've had to do things lately is because I'm updating them all. But that's my choice. So I try and keep them as low as possible. There is a few here and there where I've had to put in a lot of work. Like, for example, the mermaid heads and tail one. That took me a long time. So, because I was like, I had to change things and shift things and remake images and upload them. It took a long time. So that's why that one's a bit more expensive. But generally speaking, I try and keep my digital items at $1.50 Australian. And that seems to work really well for me. Now, if you are starting out a small business in Australia, I'm sorry, I can't talk for anywhere else. I just know from experience from living in Australia. I have a few tips and tricks that I wanted to share with you. Okay, one of the first things is sign up for an Australia Post My Business account. It's really easy. It's free. All you do is go to the Australia Post My Post business website. You just register. I think you put in, I don't even know if you need an ABN. Maybe you do, I'm not sure. I can't remember. It's been a while since I signed up. Now, when you are doing your shipping labels, I do all of my shipping labels in my Australia Post business account. When you do it in there, they have a discount system. So the more you spend in a 4-week period on shipping, the higher the discount you get. So I think I'm currently in band 2, I think. And I usually get like a few dollars off every order. The more you ship, the bigger the discount. But you need to be making all of your postage labels in your Australia Post My Post business account for their tally, right? So for everyone you do online, it tallies it all up, and then at the end of 4-month period, your discount will change depending on how much you did in shipping that month. Now, if you use prepaid envelopes, so this is an example. If you use something like this, you prepay it, right? You will be given, when you sign up for this My Post business, you'll be given a unique QR code. So when you've got ones like this, you take your QR code, you get it scanned, then have the Australia Post staff scan these, and it goes onto your tally. So of how much you spent. I don't know how much money I originally lost because I wasn't getting them to scan this with my QR code. Because it's all shipping, you're still paying for it. Okay, so when shipping internationally, this is a whole beast of its own. There is like customs, and you need to declare everything in the parcel, and you need to find the specific HS code. So every item that you ship internationally has what's called a HS code, and it basically tells customs what it is. So when I'm shipping internationally, I bought myself a small kitchen scale. This is just a really cheap digital one from Kmart. I think it cost me like $7 or something. Zero it out. Now, shipping internationally, you need to know the weights and the measurements. So I just throw the parcel on here, I get the weight, I give myself a buffer, and that's what I type into the Australia Post My Business window when I'm doing a shipping label. Okay, so once you've weighed your parcel and you know how much the weight and the measurements are, you need to declare what's in it. When you do that, keep it very simple. For example, with my 100 envelope box, I literally do laminated paper and a plastic storage box. That's what I look for. Now, because I have the same items going out all the time, like it's mainly the 100 envelope box, it's my most popular item, I made a list of all of the codes for each item because I'm sending them all the time. It saves me from having to look them up all the time. Although another budgeter, Mandy Budget, she told me that if you just type in, like, for example, laminated paper and weight, it will actually like pre-populate it, but I couldn't really find the ones I was looking for, so I just kept with my list. I will link, there's a really good website I use. It's the Free Trade Agreement portal, and that's where I get all of my HS codes from. So say, for example, it's a new product and I've never sent it before. I will get onto this website. I will type in, like, say, for example, zippered envelope. Say they wanted a customized envelope. I would put in zippered envelope and see what came up. And that's the HS code I would use. Yeah, keep it simple when thinking of the codes. Make a list. Now, as I get orders, I add them into my Post business account. Because when I had my birthday sale and I was getting huge amounts of orders, I once sat down for 2 hours just doing shipping labels. Like, and it was so long and so boring. So I recommend, as the order comes in, add it to your My Post business, so that then when you finish the order, you literally log into your My Post business, you click which one you want to pay for, you pay for it, you print the label, and then you literally copy the tracking code and enter it straight into Etsy. That's what I do once the order's complete. It makes it so much easier, so simple. Another thing I learned the hard way, do not prepay for postage. So when I had that massive amount of orders in July for my birthday, I went through and I prepaid shipping. So I prepaid about $500 worth of shipping. And I thought it would save me time because I would just have to cut the label out. The problem with that is, because it was taking me so long, people were demanding refunds, and they're well within their right. The problem is I'd already paid for the shipping. I'd already paid the $35, $40 it was going to take to send it to the US or Canada or wherever they were going. So I learned that the hard way. Do not prepay. Do not pay for your shipping until the package is in the satchel and you are literally about to take it to the post office. Because then if anything goes wrong, you're not out the shipping cost and you might be able to resell the item. Just a bit of a shameless plug here. I have started a Facebook group called Cash Stuffing. I think it's Cash Stuffing and Budget Buy, Swap and Sell. So it's basically, if you've got cash stuffing items, if you've got an own store, if you've got stuff at home that you wanted to pass on, I will link the page down below and you can check it out if you want. always, when you're calculating your postage, always add a buffer. Always charge just a little bit more than what you think. It doesn't have to be a lot. It could literally be 50 cents. It just gives you, Australia Post tends to change their pricing all the time. So when you're thinking, yep, I'm going to charge this much, and then you go to pay for your label and you're like, crap, it's gone up 50 cents. So always try and give yourself a little bit of a buffer. And then that's the same with the weight. So with international parcels, you need to weigh them. I always add a little bit of a buffer. Same with if you've got prepaid satchels. Give yourself a buffer to make sure that you've got the right satchel, because they will charge you for it. Okay, so that is all for this video. I'm sorry it was a long one. I know it was probably boring as watching paint dry. But I think it's a really important skill that we as small business owners need to learn to make sure that we're balancing our expenses and our profit and making sure that we're making it worth our time. Because I myself have worked my butt off and at the end of it there's been nothing. And I don't want anyone to go through that, because it's disheartening, because it makes you not want to do it anymore. And to me, it's been worth it. Now that my Etsy store is kind of established, it's worth it. But I made a lot of mistakes along the way. I did the wrong thing a lot. So I'm hoping that this helps. If you've got any questions, please put down the comments below. If you want me to expand on any particular area, please let me know. I'm happy to help. If you would like this sheet so that you can do your own breakdown, please email me or comment down below. I'm happy to send it to you. I'm happy to work through it with you. Yeah, so thank you so much for watching. Remember to live, laugh, love, and when life gets hard, just roll it in glitter. Bye guys.